Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Will Power. Tony Snap is not here today, but he will be back soon, I hope. How's it going, Will? Everything good, dude?
Yeah, man, it's a little hot over here. Just bought my family a pool a couple
Oh,
days ago, so I was busy setting that up today, trying to stay cool, man.
how hot is it out there?
I got up to 90 today. So,
What?
yeah, so 90 degrees and it's not even June yet. I'm expecting a really hot summer. This past winter was freezing. It was
Uh-huh.
super cold, more cold than usual. Got a little more snow than usual also. So
And for
they say that when the winters are colder, the summers are hotter. So we'll
and this
see.
is what your third year in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
yeah, it's 2.5 years. So yeah, this will be my third winter coming up.
Wow. Well, out here in LA, we're in the 70-degree weather, and it's kind
Must be
of
nice.
yeah, it's nice, but there's a little cold weather coming in, like cold winds, but it's nice. It's cool. Like that's why I'm
It'll
wearing a
warm up.
flannel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as normal as other Mays. We're gonna hit June soon, and then June gloom, whatever. You know how that is. You're from California, so
I
what's
love
up?
that June gloom, man. I love that June
What's
gloom.
up, Sam? What's up, Javi? Thanks for joining in, and forever whoever else is out there, thank you guys for joining in. We do put a lot of time and effort into our shows, and just hit that like button, and hopefully you subscribe to our channel, man. Let's get this show started. I know there's been a lot of things going on in fantasy baseball, and one of the things I wanted to mention, and I mean, this one of these players that plays for a team that's not really doing that hot, but you know, maybe you can agree they're probably like minor leaguers, dude. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and let you guys know who this is. And sorry for the typo. It's Adam Frazier. Uh, the E snuck up on me. So Yahoo, we have them at 59% and ESPN 89%. Why is it so low on Yahoo? Do you know? Is it because of categories?
Probably because categories. I mean, when 339 batting average is great.
Yeah.
Um, Hits looks good. RBIs is decent. I like to see a few stolen bases. We're 2 months into the season now, and three stolen bases isn't too bad. Hopefully he'll have close to 10 or maybe a little bit more by the end of the season. But
Yeah.
that one home run, that's what kind of like sets him apart from points leagues and categories leagues. In a
Uh,
points league, he's very valuable. Gets a lot of hits, gets on base a lot. That 339 batting average looks great.
yeah.
Probably scores a little more than 3 points every game. He's probably about a 3.5, maybe a little bit higher. But yeah, man, home runs are bread and butter when it comes to categories leagues for hitters. So he's a decent middle infield option
Yeah.
if you have that in your league. But he's definitely not the starting second baseman that I want in a categories league.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. Well, if he's out there for you guys, if he's in, like you heard Will say, categories league, I don't know if it's a good idea to pick him up. Maybe he is. Maybe whatever you guys need in your team. I mean, I know in points, I try to look for him. He wasn't available on Yahoo or ESPN. So, if he's available out there, I think it's a good option. I don't think it's a bad option for anybody, unless you can find someone that's actually hot and you can pick them up. Another news, I know we just saw one of the players in that's from the Tampa Bay Rays. He just got traded to what's it, Milwaukee Brewers. So
Yeah.
that's Willie Adames, man, over there hugging up on our Rosarena. So I get it. I get it. I understand the bromance. You build a bromance with all your teammates, and they decide to trade you, and you're like, man, what the hell? Like, I just started building some good camaraderies around here. Like, you're trading me off. These guys went to the World Series against the Dodgers, dude. So
Yeah.
you could imagine how deep their bromance was. And
Yeah, especially because last year was strictly quarantined. So these guys were spending every single day together, pretty much almost 24 hours a day together.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I understand how he must feel being traded now of all times. But you know what though? I think it's great for baseball. I think it's great for the Rays because now we get to see some of their top prospects coming up.
Yeah.
Everyone was expecting Wander Franco to come up once they made the announcement that Adames got traded. But apparently the Rays don't think he's MLB ready yet, even though he's tearing up the minor leagues. So, Tony and I were talking, and we both kind of agree that it's probably just a contract thing. You want you want to keep the top prospect in baseball as long as you can, and the sooner you bring him up, it starts to start his service time. So eventually, when he becomes a free agent, you'd rather have that later than sooner.
Yeah, yeah. And it sucks for Willie Adames. I mean, he's going to go to a new team. Maybe he needs a new scenery with the Brewers. The Brewers are doing pretty good. He might be stepping it up there. He might play a lot better. I mean, who knows, right? And what you said, he's in contract year, so it's going to help out. Well, let's move on, dude.
Real quick. So since Wander Franco's not getting called up, Taylor Walls is the prospect that the Rays decided to call up. He has a pretty good combination of speed and power. So if you are looking for a shortstop in your league, if you lost Corey Seager, this is a great guy to add right now, as long as no one else has already done it, to take a flyer on. You don't know how he's going to end up in the end, but there's not really much else out there. You can pick up guys like Jorge Polanco, who's hot and cold, a couple other guys that, they're kind of whatever, but you never know. This guy could be the next superstar. Look at Randy Arozarena. No one really looked at him before last season. When he was with the Cardinals, he was just kind of bad. But then last year with the Rays, at the end of the season, he tore up the league, man. He tore up almost every single pitcher that he saw. Yep. He led the postseason in home runs. I think he even broke the record for home runs in the postseason.
For a rookie, right? Or rookie, just in general? For rookie, yeah. Dang. Arozarena was pretty hot, dude, on the really playoffs. Was. He was really, really on it.
What's wrong with this guy's base running, though? How many times
I have no idea.
Fall on the way from third to home, or even like in the outfield when he was playing left field? He fell a couple times trying to field the ball.
Yeah, I think we should make a video of that, dude. It's gonna kind of funny.
Maybe he needs to take some ballet classes or something. Get a little lighter on his feet.
He's probably his legs are running away from him. Right? Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and move on, guy. Let's talk about the rivalries, dude. Do you think the Cardinals Cubs rivalry is a bigger rivalry than the Red Sox Yankees and the Dodgers Giants, or which one is a bigger rivalry? I know we're from LA and we're going to say that bigger rivalry is going to be the Dodgers Giants, but is there a bigger rivalry than that one?
I think that the biggest rivalry is the Yankees and Red Sox. That dates all the way back to Babe Ruth. And there was the curse of the Bambino that went on for I don't even know how many years, decades, right? The Red Sox didn't win their World Series until, was it 2004?
2004, I believe, yeah.
And the last time before that was
1918.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude, to go that long with the World Series drought. The Cubs all actually know all about that because they had even longer than that.
Longer World Series drought, dude.
Yeah.
But I think that the Giants and the Dodgers, they go way back from New York, though.
They
from
do.
the New York days.
That's why
even earlier than the Babe Ruth. Even earlier than the Babe Ruth what do you call it? Era. So this rivalry here, the Giants and the Dodgers, were even brought to California from those New York days all the way to here to California. Is back and forth, the bickering and the fighting. I think this is a bigger rivalry to me, not only because I'm a Dodger fan, but because of the history and everything and all the battles they've been through. They've been like, dude, I remember there was one, I can't remember the names, but there was some guy was trying to hit a pitcher with a bat, dude. So it was just that much hate.
Yeah.
There was that much hate. And then fans in the stands always fighting against each other. This is a bigger rivalry than
there's been some questionable fan decisions in the past decade or so.
Oh yeah.
Things that have happened, that you see in the news or you see on social media that goes on. I remember I was at a game I didn't know what happened in the moment because, I don't have a TV screen in front of me. But I found out later that there was a Dodger fan, that jumped over the fence to get inside the Giants bullpen, the away bullpen. This is at Dodger Stadium, and he tried to go after the Giants pitcher.
Damn. Why? Like, why do you need to do all that? That's
That's too much, man.
I think honestly, I just think that it's just too much. That's just going overboard for me.
To be passionate about a sport, about a team, but when you're going to get violence involved just for sports, that's too much, man. I mean, there's other issues in the world. There's other issues in your own personal life that should weigh more on yourself than, a sports rivalry.
Of course. But look at Bauer here, man. Bauer's over there like, am I not entertaining? Is there no one else? he's doing.
On Facebook today, I saw an article written by someone in the Dodgers organization saying that Trevor Bauer is the most hated player in all of baseball.
Are you serious?
I don't think that's true, man, because even in the comments, there was other people that were commenting, and they were saying, I don't know where this is coming from. I'm not even a Dodgers fan, but Trevor Bauer, most people don't hate this guy. I think a lot of the older generation maybe don't like this guy very much because, the older generation wants the players to just shut up and play the game and don't show any personality. Whereas the newer generations, us or younger, we like to see personality. We like to see those mic'd up moments when,
of course,
Charlie Blackmon's in the outfield and he's mic'd up and he's talking about swatting flies away from his head, and or there was another batter that another player that he was at bat, and there were a bunch of gnats, so he was just swinging the bat at all the gnats, trying to get all the gnats.
Yeah,
it's funny to see those. Oh, Freddie Freeman, man. When Freddie Freeman was mic'd up, that dude's funny, dude. That dude's funny. I love seeing the personality, and as a Braves fan, you see that it gets you more engaged in certain players. Like, yeah, we like players for their stats and for their skill, but we also like to see the personality side, and we like to see the players as the person they are too.
Of course. Yeah, and you know what, the rivalry, it's just like it makes it fun for the sport. It makes it like you want to watch those type of games, and I just love rivalries. Watching the Dodgers Giants, it's a bigger rivalry than the Dodgers Padres. The Padres still have a lot to prove to it can be a big rivalry. Not trying to say
it's a rivalry yet. I mean,
exactly, it's not there for me. It's not there yet. I know Padre fans, for them it is a rivalry because we look at the Padres as being our little brothers. And I know
I don't even see it like that, man. I mean, I see as Padres as like just another team in our division, and lately they've been playing great. It's true. It was the same thing about the Diamondbacks a few years ago. They were playing great, but I wouldn't really call them a rival. They're definitely a division rival.
Not yet.
Right?
Yeah.
All the teams in the NL West, they're all division rivals, but really the real rivalry is San Francisco and LA.
Of course. Hey, we got a question from Sam. Sam, you say you traded Yelich for Grandal for Tatis. What do you think? Okay, I traded Yelich and Grandal for Tatis. What do you think? Wow, I like that trade. I like I like it, dude. I like it. Tatis is just on it, man. I don't know. Yelich is
Yelich came back today.
He came back. No, he came like 2 days ago or something like that. Yeah, he's been there. It's just he hasn't made any noise. He's been on the IL for a while. And we have a segment on him. So Sam, we'll talk about Yelich, but I think it's a really good trade. I don't know about Will, because Grandal doesn't play every day either.
No, he hasn't been impressive this year.
No,
he was like the second or third catcher drafted off the board this season, and he's been a kind of a bust. So that kind of sucks for the fantasy owners that drafted him a little bit early. Maybe you jump the gun on a guy like that because you know that the catcher position is one of the weakest positions. So We saw one guy in our league take Will Smith in like the 5th round when he shouldn't be going that early,
Nah,
But
that was way too early, dude.
that
I was
was
just
way
like,
too
what?
early. Way
Like,
too early.
why? Why did you do that? Hey,
But he
but
he also has like 4 other Dodgers on his team. He has Justin Turner.
so you're saying he was a Giant fan? Nah. So what do you think? That you haven't even said if you agree or don't agree with this trade?
I think it's a fair trade. I think it's a fair trade because we haven't really seen what Yelich can do this season.
Yeah.
He had a really down 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why you're worried about him. And plus, he just came back from injury. But this guy hits home runs, he steals bases. I think that his skill set and Tatis's skill set that we've seen so far is very similar. They're both going to get similar stats in 162 games. And giving up Grandal, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if anyone has even dropped Grandal to pick up a catcher that maybe plays a little bit more or better production. Look at Buster Posey. He wasn't even drafted in most
Oh my
leagues. And
God, Buster Posey, dude.
this
He's
dude,
doing
I
good.
have him in one of the leagues. I was lucky enough to get him in one of the leagues. And
Yeah.
this dude is playing like he's the best catcher in baseball.
Hey, and he
only
wasn't
plays
even
2 out of 10
drafted.
games. Yeah,
He
wasn't
wasn't
even
drafted, dude.
I actually drafted him as my very last pick
Really?
in the league. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
only
Buster
because
Posey.
I skipped on catcher. So I waited all the way to the end and I was like, you know what? Buster Posey was my sleeper for the catcher position.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give him a try. And dude, he just started off the season with a hot bat. I want to say he was day to day a couple times. Hasn't done an IL stint, but this
Not yet.
dude he's been producing. And the
Yeah.
Giants, they're tied for first place right now.
They are. They are. And the West is actually what they have the best 3 teams in the West. You got the Giants, Padres on top of the NL West, and then you have the Dodgers 1 game behind them. So, yeah, man, it's kind of crazy there. And I just saw Buster Posey, dude. He gained some weight, man. Like, he didn't play. He didn't play last year, and I saw him yesterday playing against the
Well,
Dodgers. And I'm
he
just
was
like,
raising twins that he adopted last season also.
yeah,
So I'm sure that took a lot of time away from training and his diet regimen. He was probably tired all the time trying to
yeah,
take care of 2 brand new kids. So
yeah.
were they babies?
I think they were babies. I think they were what 5, 6 months. They were
Really?
small. They were small, and I guess Posey was kind of scared of going out there and contracting the
Right,
virus and bringing it
exactly. And
back
that's why
home.
he opted out,
Yeah,
which is great for his family. You
yeah,
do what you do.
yep,
But obviously, man, it didn't make his bat suffer at all. If anything, he licked his wounds a little bit, healed up, and now he came back and he's looking like vintage Buster Posey. He
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
play every day like he used to, because there were some seasons where he played 150 or more games. But
Hey, I got one for you, man. I got a friend, and I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to embarrass him. But this dude, is a Dodger fan, and he went out to San Francisco and he picked up a freaking Buster Posey jersey, dude. As a Dodger fan, would you buy a Giants shirt? Hey, no, I wouldn't do that. The only Giants sign or anything that I will buy is this right here to put it on my freaking toilet seat.
if it was like how they all wear the all-star jersey when they're playing in the all-star game. If it was an all-star jersey and it had Posey's name on the back and nothing about the Giants, I can understand that because you're a fan of the
But
player.
Posey's a good player, though.
He is
Posey's a really good player. I understand why he did it. I'm just trying to tease him, and
Man,
I'm trying to tease him.
I can't own anything with the Giants on it unless it has a slash through it or on top of a toilet seat or
How to do it. I got to keep the
maybe
rivalry going.
Maybe I'd own a bobblehead. I wouldn't mind having a couple Giants bobbleheads, but
yeah,
very limited players when it comes to that.
Yeah. I know. We've talked about Barry Bonds, how we hate the guy, but some of us personally, I think he should go into the Hall of Fame. So yeah.
seeing how we have mic'd up moments and seeing personality, I wish we could have done that back in the 90s and seeing the personality of a lot of these guys that we're talking about,
Yeah, it
20
would have
years
been great.
later.
It would have been great, dude. It would have been amazing to see how these players act on the field. From what we see on TV on these players, some of them look like, oh man, that guy looks like a prick. I wouldn't want to meet this guy. Or, like when I see Barry Bonds batting, I feel like he's not a really great guy at all, So it's like, um, there's so many players like that. There's so many players from the 90s that I feel like, oh man, these guys look like assholes. Like, what the hell? Even now, sometimes you don't understand some of these players. Like, you're out there in Philly and you get to see Bryce Harper, right? Behind the scenes type of thing. We don't get to see that out here in LA.
Yeah.
We don't get to experience that. We just get to experience the LA teams, which is, the Dodgers and the Angels, and then maybe some of the Padres things. And they used to have that, what do you call it, on Fox? They used to have like the hour before the game. They used to show like behind the scenes on each team that was going to play that day, right? But that was really rare. And if you caught that hour, you would get to experience that. But yeah, back then you didn't have that, dude. And it would have been amazing to see how these players acted together and how they, how they were, if they were funny, if they had some personalities on them, I know I would have enjoyed it. I enjoy it now when I see some of the players like, oh, I didn't think this player was like that. I didn't think this player, did funny things or some memes, or, they get on Instagram or all these social media platforms. Like Trevor Bauer, dude, what he did yesterday, I was just like, he busted a Tommy Lasorda. Tommy Lasorda had done that before. So, he's not the first one to do it against Giants. What is it called? A Giants stadium, Giants fans. He didn't do it right there. I forget what the Oracle Field, I guess, is called, or I don't know what the hell it's
Oracle
called.
Park, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same as the basketball one, right? So why would you name it the same? Change it.
I wish I could have went to the Giants stadium when I was living in California. Now it's kind of just like, damn, I'm all the way.
It's a nice stadium. I'll give you that. I'll give the Giants. Yeah, it's a really nice stadium. To me, it's way better than Petco. A lot of people will argue that Petco is a lot better, and I think it has to do with the weather. San Francisco's weather is not all that great, so it gets cold really fast.
Yeah.
So it starts out a nice day, and then like in a minute or two, you'll be like seeing clouds. You see the marine layer coming into the stadium, and it just sucks, man. But I think it's a way better stadium. I think it was really well built. And it sucks that it's a rival stadium. I like both. I like all three of them. I like the Dodgers stadium, I like San Francisco, and I like Petco. So all of them are great. And right now all three of them are on top of the NL West, which is a good thing. If we have any more questions out there, hopefully, Sam, we answer your question and you didn't leave. And we answered it correctly. If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and submit them here. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the show, it takes us time and effort to get this show going. It's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. We have to be live on YouTube and answer your questions, get prepared. We've been on Instagram, TikTok, and even Twitter, answering people's questions. We had a few questions on Instagram. Will, I don't know if you want to put them up, and hopefully they're here. If they're here, we could go ahead and answer them. I actually replied to them and let them know that we're going to do this live show, that we were getting ready for it.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to go ahead and do that before we continue with the slideshow and everything. I know, I think Javi has a question. Let me go ahead and read it. I don't want to sound like I'm cutting it off, but go ahead, Will, if you want to. You got it?
Yeah. So he says, can I ask your opinion on stashing Chris Sale? I'm already stashing Syndergaard. So Chris Sale is supposed to he's projected to have about 10 starts this season. He should be returning, I think it's like late June or early July, something like that. They're probably going to limit his innings in the beginning because he's just recovered from Tommy John surgery. So I don't know how many innings he's actually going to be able to throw in each start, at least in the beginning, because it takes a lot to get stretched out. We saw guys like Ohtani last season.
Yeah.
That when he pitched, he just didn't look like Ohtani. He was wild, and he got lit up a lot. You
Yeah.
know, he didn't have the velocity that he finally got back now, and now he's pitching like an ace.
Yes, he is.
There's a
Finally,
lot
right?
of
Finally.
yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? The Angels got him kind of cheap
They did.
for,
They
for
did.
what he can for his production level. They got him kind of cheap. So Chris Sale, I think he's worth to stash if you have that extra IL slot.
But he already has Syndergaard, dude. He has Syndergaard. I have Syndergaard. I have him stashed for a little, and I've been reading up on him. He's already throwing the ball. He's not throwing off of the mound yet. I want to say he's already reached that 120 feet, which is that's where they throw from. They're throwing from 120 feet, flat surface for Syndergaard. So if you already have Syndergaard out there, and you picked up even what do you call it? Can't think of his name. Who is he?
Chris Sale.
Chris L. I mean, I don't know how many IL spots do you have, but Syndergaard it's already a good spot or a good pitcher to stash. And if you're going to stash another one, like Will said, he's only going to have like 10 starts. And I mean, it's not a bad idea either, though. I think it's a good idea to have them there because of the playoffs, right? Once you reach playoffs, you're going to have
that's
two
the
elite
thing,
pitchers.
is that by the time the playoffs start, hopefully both of these guys will be stretched out enough where they can go at least 6 innings in each start.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna, bolster your playoff production.
Man, dude.
There's not a lot of pitchers out there, that off the waiver wire or off of free agency for fantasy baseball.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pick up pitchers in all the leagues that I'm in. I'm in 4 different leagues, and there's just nothing out there, man. So sometimes you get kind of just, if you need that extra pitcher to kind of give you a couple extra points or possibly some Ks, a quality start, you're really taking a big gamble on every pitcher that you picked up.
Yep.
One of the ones that worked out for us that actually 2. The first one that I can think of is Carlos Rodon. We got him off of free agency.
Yeah.
He was my 2-start pitcher for the week, and then he threw a new hitter, and he's still looking amazing, man. I think he had 13 Ks in his last start.
It was 13 Ks, dude. I can't believe it was 13.
He raised his K9. I believe last year it was like right around 9 or 10, a high 9s, and then now he's already up to almost like 13. He's like a 12.8 or 12.9. Since his debut, like 3 years ago, he's raised his K9 almost 3 points, maybe a little bit more than 3 points actually. So that was the one thing that I was looking at when I saw him as a 2-star pitcher. I saw his K rate increased. He didn't offer as many walks as he used to.
Yeah.
And, it paid off in the end. And then we still got him in that league. And another one that I said was Casey Mize, which we're still in the same week for my 2-star pitcher. And Casey Mize pitched on Monday, and he did an amazing job also. So once in a while, you'll get lucky with your waiver wire pickups or your free agency pickups, and you'll find a diamond in the rough like those 2 guys.
Yep.
But we'll see how Casey Mize pitches. I want to say he pitches again tomorrow.
So he was a 2-start for the week 7, right?
Yes,
he was
for the current week that we're in right now.
Yeah, and we were supposed to pick him up on the the podcast class.
You picked him up in the podcast league, but it was about 5 minutes after the first game of the day started. They were still in the first inning. It was the Giants game that had just started, and we just picked him up a little too late to get him for Monday.
Yeah,
but I think in that league, we're up 9-5. It's a categories league. We're up 9-5. So, dude, we got 4 home runs in that league today. 5 home runs because Muncie got a home run. So we had 2 from Ozzie Albies, 2 from Adalis Garcia. That guy, man, that was such a good pickup. Adalis Garcia.
Yeah, he was.
Man, he's like the the only guy on the Rangers team that is actually like producing almost on a daily basis, dude.
I
He
see
went
that.
from 0% owned because no one knew who he was, and now he's 92.7% owned, man.
How many?
92.7%
What?
owned. Yeah.
Dude, remember we
He is,
said, I think we talked about him in week 6. How I think it was only what 40 something percent, and it
yeah,
just
look
kept
at him
moving
now,
on up.
dude. Last week he went
92.
up 12.2.
Wow.
He's the number 2 outfielder in baseball right now.
Dang. And we got him, so
And
we're
he has
good.
3 home runs in the last 2 days, both against Houston.
Dope. I know Tony's not here. He's a Houston Astros fan, and he'll be probably talking crap to us because like I'm not an Astro fan.
I love Correa. I love Correa.
We just like to get around like that. If you're listening, Tony, and you're out there, don't get mad. We know you're an Astro fan by heart.
Now here's the question though.
Yo,
Adolis Garcia, you see his production in the last 2 months, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down at all.
yeah.
Is that the type of guy that you would trade for if you need an outfielder?
Dude,
He's definitely a lot cheaper than what you would get for other guys that are around the same doing the same production. He has
yeah.
let's see, he has
So okay, so that raises a question then.
12 and 5 stolen bases.
So that raises a question. You know how Yelich is not doing all that great. Would you trade and pull the trigger for this guy?
Yes.
You would?
I would.
Okay, we'll get into that segment because we have that segment. And before we continue, I just want to go ahead and say that we have a new platform for you guys to listen to us. It's Castbox. So we just got into that market. It's not live. This show is going to go on there once we're done with it, and I'll go ahead and upload it. But we do have Instagram. We even have the Spotify. So I've been uploading episodes on Spotify, Twitter, and TikTok. I don't know if that's the right logo for TikTok. That's the only one I could find.
I think the logo that for TikTok is actually spelled out.
TikTok, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. But I'm like, okay, that looks like the T from TikTok, so I'll go ahead and put it on there.
I like that microphone though. That microphone looks dope.
I think it's the one I have. Oh shit! Hey, watch it be Tinder or something like that, and then they're gonna be like, "What is that?" Like, no, we're not on Tinder. We're on TikTok. I've been posting some dancing videos on there, so I don't know if people have been watching. No, a lot of people have been watching and commenting, and that's pretty dope. There was another thing that we were talking about. I didn't put a video or anything, but I put it on TikTok and I put it on Instagram on what is his name, dude? I can't think his name. He's with the Diamondbacks now. He was with the Astros in 2017.
Reddick.
The cheating, yeah, Reddick. So they were playing.
He was with the Dodgers too. He was with the Dodgers before he was with the Astros.
And but he sucked.
He was garbage in right field, man.
And he got mad because fans were booing him when he was a Dodger. How can you expect not to get booed if you didn't perform, dude?
You're only batting like 200, and you want them to cheer for you? Come on, man.
That doesn't happen here in LA.
He was supposed to be a really good source of batting average. He was supposed to be, some guy that you could put in the top of the order, and he just didn't produce, dude. So it's like, I mean, come on. And then he's with the Astros when they cheat to win the World Series, and then he posts on Instagram, on his personal account, of him using the bonus that he got from winning the World Series to buy a brand new car. I don't remember if it was like a Lamborghini or whatever it was, man. But it's like looking back on it now, like, bro, you were boasting so much about winning the World Series, getting all this money, this cash, and spending money, and you were cheating the whole time. You didn't expect to get caught, but now you just look like a fool, dude.
Yeah, I know it was a Nancy B. Nancy B was the organist for the Dodgers. Now it's someone else, and he played that "I Saw the Sign" song, so it was perfect. It matched. It went on there, and Reddick, I'm pretty sure he knew what was going on, and the people were even chanting "cheater, cheater," So not Jeter, cheater. So
yeah, there's other guys on the team that are legit, and when they go to other teams, they're gonna get cheered for, like George Springer.
Yeah.
George Springer was hurt. He came back for a couple days, and he even hit a couple Springer dingers. Yep. And then he went back on the IL. But, I mean, you come back after being hurt and you hit 2 or 3 home runs in just the small amount of time that you're back. before you go back on the injured list, that just shows the type of production that he can produce. Leadoff spot, or batting number 2, 3, 4, even some days. Like that, this is the guy that you could put anywhere in your lineup, and he'll produce. Reddick is the type of guy. He's a good source of batting average, or at least he was with Houston.
But that's because he was cheating.
Yeah, I mean, at least in 2017 and probably 2018. We don't know about 2019, 2020 because there's only proof for 2017.
Not yet. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
And
look at Marwin Gonzalez too. Marwin Gonzalez, remember 2017, that guy was amazing. He was hitting over 300. He was hitting bombs. And all of a sudden he goes to a different team and he sucks now.
So look, I've been getting into it with a lot of people on TikTok, dude. They've been saying a lot of things, and they were saying, "Oh, but we went to Dodger Stadium and we won those games and this and that." Dude, I just want to set the record straight. And to be honest, I'm just gonna say it, and doesn't matter who listens to it. If you get offended by it, then you must be an Astro fan. But to be honest, like I honestly feel that if you think that the Dodgers win the Game 7 against the Astros and they actually battled it out fairly, then you must be on crack, because the Dodgers battled a cheating team 7 games. That tells you a lot. That tells you that the Dodgers were playing really, really good and should have been the champs. And because the Astros cheated, and they cheated against the Yankees as well, they cheated against every team in the major leagues.
Oakland.
That's why a lot of people hate on the Astros. And for people to say, you guys need to forget about that. You guys need to forget about the 2017 season, and you guys are just bitter and this and that. Like, no, MLB is not going to forget. The real fans that know about baseball are never going to forget. The White Sox did this back in 1919, I believe, or 1920. I forget the year, but they got penalized, and they got, all those players that actually cheated because they lost the game, or they lost the World Series because they got paid for. They got suspended from the league and never got to play it in the MLB again. So the Astros didn't get that punishment.
They got nothing, dude. Well, the players
exactly.
got nothing.
So
all they did was get some banter from the fans.
Yeah.
But real punishment, like
no,
nothing at all, man.
They didn't.
AJ Hinch got fired, got suspended from the league for a year.
Yep.
Same thing with Jeff Luhnow.
Mm-hmm.
And
Corey
Astros. What's that?
Cora got suspended for the whole year, and the Red Sox signed him back. So is that punishment? Not really. No. I don't think so.
And the Astros organization had to pay a $5 million fine.
It's like this. Look.
Exactly.
Don't do it again.
Yeah. $5 million to a professional sports organization that their total payroll is closer to like 250 million, something like that. That's nothing, dude.
We're doing it again, man. We're getting sucked in back into that 2017.
I know. We got to stop that, dude.
Well, dude, the reason I brought it up is because I put it up on TikTok, and a lot of people were talking about it, and you want to go check it out, dude. But there's a lot of conversation on it. And it's just like, dude, it's not something that anybody's going to forget in the near future. This is going to go on for years. And if the players keep playing on the Astros, even if they're not on the Astros, they're still going to get booed, dude. So it's like they're going to get it twice as hard if they go to another team.
The
Hopefully
Astros
Dodgers don't sign one of those.
No, hell no, they won't.
Because it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard.
The Dodgers fans, they're too passionate about the Dodgers, and we'll never forget the 2017 season. That should have been the end of the World Series drought.
Yeah.
But because of some cameras in center field, that didn't happen, and look at Game 3 of the World Series. I think it was Game 3. It was either Game 3 or Game 4, where the Astros and the Dodgers both scored like 11, 12 runs.
I believe it was Game 4, dude.
It was in Houston. I don't remember who was pitching, but the only reason why they were able to score that many runs is because they knew what pitch was coming. The Dodgers should have won that game, and it shouldn't even have went to Game 7.
No.
It would have been 4 wins by Game 6.
Well,
Yeah,
before we get
excited.
sour and we start ranting off, man, let's keep going on our show, dude. Dang.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, let's go. So Bobby Cox had a birthday this week, and he turned 80 years old. For those of you that don't know who Bobby Cox was, he was the manager for the Braves in the 1990s, and this guy went to the playoffs 11 straight years. He won 6 pennants, and he won 1 World Series. So happy birthday, Bobby Cox. He was a good coach, man. I remember him going out and arguing, kind of like Tommy Lasorda, dude, where he argued for his players and he threw dirt on cleats. I don't think he took out a base or anything like that.
Did you see Davey Martinez the other day from Washington?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, that was a horrible call by an umpire, man. They called Trey Turner out for the same reason. Do you remember when they won the World Series and Trey Turner was running like a little bit inside the line,
Inside the baseline? Yeah.
and they called him out because of that. So it was the same exact thing. Trey Turner again running just a little bit too inside the line, which is really stupid because you have, some leeway on both sides of the line. This guy was probably just 1 inch on the inside of that white line, and the umpires called him out like a interference because I think he either got hit by the throw from the catcher, or like he blocked the vision. I think he got hit by the throw.
Hey, I got something to say about that play though. To be honest, as like I played a lot of baseball, and I know when you hit the ball inside, like in the infield, where it's one of those little scribblers down to the pitcher, to third base or first base, and you run down first. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you tend to run inside the baseline, and it's just because you see the ball inside. It doesn't mean that you're intentionally doing it on purpose. You're doing it because you're like, oh, damn, I need to run. And that when you're running, because sometimes those little scribbler balls are hit by like either not half swing
a swinging bunt.
Swinging bunt, one of those things. So you run inside the baseline. So it would be interesting to understand and to ask players, because I don't think they do it intentionally, man. I've never seen anybody try to get inside the baseline to try to get safe into baseball. I mean, yeah, you do have those that think differently than others. But when I did that, and I used to do that, I used to run inside the baseline, but it wasn't because it was intentional. It was more of, I need to get on first base. And because I did a half swing and my body weight was in front, I would be like running inside the baseline. And when you're when you're doing a full swing and you're going to run a second, you kind of tend to do that little banana, right? You do the banana thing to go to first. And when you're hitting into the infield, you tend to do the first thing that pops up in your head, which is running straight to the first base, which you kind of step out a little bit outside the line. It's kind of weird. It's a mentality thing. It's not something that you do on purpose. But there is rules in baseball, and if he was inside, they got to abide by it. And if the umpires got together and they called him out, did they throw Dave Martinez out? In fact, in that game, or no?
Yeah, they did because he ended up picking up the first base, and he just chucked it on the ground. So it was pretty funny, man. But I kind of feel bad for Trey Turner because honestly, like maybe he did do it on purpose. We don't know, but I don't think that he was out of the base path at all.
Yeah.
Even if it was intentional, the catcher needs to take a couple steps towards the pitcher's mound and then make the throw. I understand that Trey Turner is.
It's a hard throw, though. It's a really hard throw for catchers. Yeah,
but these guys are professional catchers. So
even then though, like I've played catcher back in Little League, and you do that like outside inside type thing. Inside meaning inside the field, and outside meaning outside the field. So you have to call it out inside, outside, and it's like it's hard, dude. It's really hard. You got to listen
to your teammates because you don't know which side of the base path the runner is going to throw, or
that's a really hard play.
Your first baseman is set up.
Yeah, that's a really hard play, dude. I mean, it sucks for Dave Martinez, but yeah, Bobby Cox, man, he was one of those great guys that did that. Let's go ahead and move on. What do you think about this one, man? Is it time to panic? Is it time to trade? Is it time to do something with this? We just saw Sam. He said he did make a trade for Yelich, and he came up with Tatis. So what do you think?
I think Lindor is still going to be pretty safe for the end of the season. I think once the All-Star break hits, I think once the All-Star break hits, that's that monster coming back up, man.
Yeah, I see that.
I think Lindor will be fine. I think that he's going to go back to his normal self. I think he's struggling. I think he's struggling mentally. I think that.
What about the teammates? What about with the New York?
And that's the thing also, is that he's probably getting a lot of shit from his teammates. And, the whole thing about the raccoon or rat or whatever that was that
I really don't know that story. Like, do you know it completely? Like, enlighten us, man. I really don't know what it is.
So I saw the interview with Tatis where he and a journalist asked him, so we heard some shouting in the hallway coming out from the dugout. And he had a big smile on his face, and he was saying, like, yeah, me and Jeff McNeil, we were back there, and I saw a big rat. We're in New York. I thought it was a big New York rat. He says it was a raccoon.
New York rat.
It just kind of, yeah, that's what he said. It just kind of seemed that he was just kind of making up the story.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't, maybe he was, but if he's already getting into it with his own teammates and he hasn't even been on the team for half a season yet, that's a bad sign. And when stuff like that happens to a player that just got with the organization, whether it's trade, free agency, whatever, you're not comfortable yet.
Yeah.
And his production hasn't been there. But I think that, sometimes you need a jolt to get you started. And we've seen that multiple times where Bryce Harper will be in the dugout and he'll start talking shit to his teammates. And then all of a sudden they start playing better because, they start playing more aggressive. They're like, man, F this guy. I'm just going to go out there and do my thing. And
before you continue, Will, I remember you brought up the Bryce Harper, Papelbon. That brings up that incident right there when he walks in and then Papelbon, chokes him. So it's pretty dope. I like, but that kind of sparks up a player sometimes too.
Exactly.
After that, I think the Phillies played really well after that.
There was a Dodgers player, I believe it was Max Muncy. Someone, I think it was Justin Turner, that got upset with Muncy because he didn't do something, and then they had a little argument in the dugout. This was
serious?
Yeah, this was a few years ago.
I need to look it up.
After that, all of a sudden, Muncy just started hitting bombs left and right. I think that was like the beginning of when Muncy actually started to produce for the Dodgers.
That's when he became the brass monkey, Muncy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, yeah, you heard it from Will Power. He said that Lindor, don't panic yet. I think he should be all right. And when do you start panicking for this guy, though, to be honest? Because we've been, what is it, this is the 7th week of fantasy baseball. And, 8th week if it's MLB. But it's the 7th week of fantasy baseball. You're not getting enough points from this guy. You do see a little bit of resurgence, and then he goes back down. And then you see a little bit of hits here and there, and then again, he starts struggling. So by when do you see this guy actually producing? Do you wait what week? What I'm asking is, what week do you think you should start panicking about on this guy?
There's usually 20 to 22 weeks in fantasy baseball before the playoff starts. I'd say by halfway through the season, week 10, if we don't start to see some life with him within the next 3 weeks from now, I think then it's time to panic a little bit. It might be too late by then. Sometimes you just gotta trust with who you drafted in the first place.
Gotcha.
I even said before the season started that I don't know how Lindor is really going to play with the Mets because, new team, a lot of times, guys struggle. I even brought up Greinke, how he was this Cy Young type of pitcher in the last season with the Dodgers, and then he signs with the Diamondbacks, and almost 2 years he was just really bad.
Yeah.
Madison Bumgarner, when he went from San Francisco being their ace and he goes to the Diamondbacks a couple years, he didn't play so well. He did have that dirt bike accident,
Yep.
but I mean that shouldn't have hindered him for that long. He has professional sports medicine doctors that are working on him every day. So
24/7, man. Yeah.
24/7 at your
Yeah.
disposal. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, my toe hurts. All right, let's take a look.
Or my
You know,
breath stinks. Help me with that. Hey, so all right, we already talked about Yelich. I mean Lindor. What about Yelich? Is
I
that something to
think
be concerned about?
I
Do
think
you
it's
wait?
time to panic already for Yelich.
Really?
I
Because
think
of the IL stint, right?
exactly, and I think that he's going to produce when he's healthy, but how long is he going to be healthy? And that's actually the only reason why I said that I would possibly do a trade for Adolis Garcia for Christian Yelich, because Yelich, I don't think that he can stay healthy for the rest of the season. And I'd rather have production in my lineup than someone that's just going to sit on the IL the whole time.
Yeah. To be honest, I honestly feel that Yelich is going to go into another IL stint because his swing is pretty aggressive. He was MVP in 2018, I believe. Yeah, 2018. And he was on it, but you can see his swing is really, really aggressive. He was the MVP in 2018, and we're going to talk about the 2019 MVP. He looks like he's coming back, and that is Bellinger. So 7 to 8 games in the minor leagues, and then he's coming to the Dodgers. For those of you that are holding on to him in fantasy baseball, you finally get to have him back. Is that a player you want to trade, Will? Is that a player you want to see him play, or you want to get something out of him? Because we haven't really seen anything from Bellinger all year. We've only seen a week or two, I believe, and then he went to the IL stint, right? And he had a fractured, is it a fractured ankle or foot? I don't remember
Um,
what it was.
I think it
It's
was
foot related.
the fibula. I
Is
think
it
it
the
was
fibula?
yeah.
Yeah, he
It
had
was
a
a muscle, a bone in his leg. It was
mhm,
a stress fracture. A stress fracture. Yeah, I think it was a stress
something.
fracture on his leg.
Yep.
Um, I mean, we talked about it a little before the season started. I picked him as my bust for the first base position.
Yep.
Um, I I like him in clutch situations, but he's never going to get near what his MVP season was. And he got drafted really early.
Yep.
Beginning of round 2. Was it
Yeah,
beginning
he
of round
did.
2? Mid
He
round
did.
2, something like that. And for a guy that's going to hit 250 with a bunch of home runs, the home runs are really where his production comes from when it comes to fantasy baseball wise.
Fantasy, yeah.
I think he's a lot more valuable in a categories league rather than a points league, because one day he'll go 0 for 4 with a couple Ks, and then the next day he'll get 2 home runs with 6 RBI.
Yeah.
So that one game that he does produce, he'll get you a bunch of points, but then 3 or 4 games out of the rest of the week, he's not really going to produce much, maybe a couple points kind of here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never really been super high on the guy, even when he broke out into the league, rookie of the year. Next year he won MVP. So I'm not really high on the guy anyway. So if I've been stashing him this long, I'd be looking to trade him, which I'd be looking to trade for a pitcher.
Sweet.
Unless I
So
really, really needed a first baseman.
yeah.
In one of my leagues, I had Nate Lowe as my starting first baseman. And if I had Bellinger coming back, I would definitely drop Nate Lowe for for Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
But if I already had a first baseman kind of already set, actually in that same league, I ended up getting Reese Hoskins because some dummy dropped him. I don't know why you dropped Reese Hoskins in a
Yeah, I
12
don't know.
team league. That doesn't make any sense. But I got lucky with that one. I had the number 2 waiver and I used it for Reese Hoskins. So yay
Gotcha.
me. But
Yay, you.
but yeah,
Hey,
if I'm stashing Cody Bellinger, if I have another option, a decent option at first base, I'm looking to trade for a starting pitcher. If I don't have a better option at first base, then I would go ahead and keep him.
gotcha. Hey, for those of you that are joining our show and actually seeing our show for the first time, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscription button. I know I've said it at the beginning of the show and in the middle of the show. I'm just going to say it again. It takes a lot of hard work for us to get this show going, pictures and all this stuff for you guys. And yeah, it's been pretty cool actually getting ready for the show. The live shows, we've been doing them since I think 2 months now, right? Will, we've been doing live shows since we actually discovered this live thing on here, and it's pretty dope. I mean, we've been interacting with our subscribers, even if there's people out there that have never seen us before and they want to ask a question, go ahead and hit it right there on the chat. We'll go ahead and answer it. I know we just see Felix Flores. He said, "What's up?" For you, Will, and myself. Like, what's up, Felix? I know he's
What's up, man?
one of the veterans on here. Sam, Javi, Oscar, everybody that's on there. Thank you guys for actually supporting our little podcasting. But let's continue, man. Let's continue with our show, dude. And I agree with you. I feel like Bellinger is not going to be one of those players that are going to be like, like I don't know. I'm not so big on Bellinger either, only because
Anymore? Because when I said that he was a bust, you and Tony were like, what? Like, you guys got
look,
like
the reason why I said that is because beyond and you didn't let me finish. After the seventh inning, this guy becomes someone else. This guy becomes a hitter. This guy becomes a guy that gets on base for you. But there's only 7, 8, and 9. How many at bats are you going to get off of that? Are you going to
know why? You know why?
Why?
Because the weed wore off by then.
Maybe, right? Maybe that's true, dude. Whatever it is, like, yeah, I'm so high on him. And I've said it in other shows. You guys can go and look at the other shows. After the 7th inning, this guy turns it on. And sometimes
what
before
happens
that,
in those double headers though, when there's only 7 innings?
he doesn't turn it on, man, unless he's batting. He's batting in the 7th inning, and he could win the game for you. He did that against the Braves in Game 6, I believe, and they won the game that day. So, or was it Game 7 against the Braves? So, I mean, it worked out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. He's really good in clutch situations, which usually come later in the game.
Yeah,
right?
later in the game.
That doesn't really help you too much fantasy wise. It helps the Dodgers because then if they're behind, hopefully that kind of puts them ahead, and helps them win the game. I love his clutch, kind of like Kike was for the Dodgers, right?
Yep.
Kike was very clutch. He didn't produce on a daily basis, but when it mattered, he did produce.
Yep. Well, let's keep on moving, man, because we have only a few minutes left. But there was 2 no-hitters this past week, and if you had them on your fantasy team, dude, you just came up. Kluber and can't remember his name.
Spencer Turnbull.
Spencer Turnbull, dude, with the Tigers. These guys threw a no-hitter. What was it? Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yeah,
man,
back-to-back days.
Back to back, dude. How do you do that?
I don't like this at all, man. I do not like all these no-hitters. It makes for boring baseball. I want to see guys actually battling it out. I don't want to see, you do see, home run robs and some really good diving plays and good throws and all this, but
yeah,
6 no-hitters already with Madison Bumgarner going the 7-inning no-hitter. You can count it as 7 or 6. MLB is only counting it as 6, which kind of sucks for him. That's a whole different discussion though. But honestly, I look at all these pitchers that got these no-hitters: Musgrove, Rodon, John Means, Wade Miley, Spencer Turnbull, and Corey Kluber. And Corey Kluber is the only one of that group that has actually been an ace before.
Yep.
When he was with the Indians, he helped them get to the World Series and blow a 3-1 lead. But he helped get him there. He was the ace for a long time in Cleveland.
He was,
and he's just been hurt. And he just hasn't been the same the past few seasons. So I think that Corey Kluber is actually the only one on this list that actually kind of deserves to be there. All these other pitchers, I even posted on Instagram, I said in our story, so which slightly above average pitcher is going to get a no-hitter today?
Yeah, I did see that. And the percentage was like,
feel, man. It's
like, a little high though, right? A lot of people were voting saying that, there's going to be more people doing it. There's going to be more pitchers doing it.
I put on there how many more or how many no hitters will there be this season? Less than 10 and more than 10, and majority of people said more than 10.
More than 10.
I'm really hoping that the league batters are trying to catch on, and seeing that the weaker lineups are getting no hit, and they kind of just turn it up a little bit. We need some bat productions. That's what makes for exciting baseball. We want to see some really good plays defensively, and that doesn't happen when you're swinging at everything and missing most.
And getting 13 strikeouts. Kershaw came out and saying that. He said that it's not good for the game if you're trying to see home runs and trying to see hitters hit the ball super hard. So either it has to do with the ball, denting the ball, which we talked about in our.
That's part of it, I think.
Earlier in our podcast, we talked about how they were gonna dent the ball, and Manfred was like all psyched about that. If he's trying to increase more fans to look at the game, no hitters is not the way to go. I mean, yeah, as a baseball fan and a baseball fanatic, and as an old baseball fanatic, because we're pretty much older than usual people that are watching the sport, or younger, or whatever you want to say. A no hitter is great. They're really rare, but you already have 6, 7 if you count Madison Bumgarner, like Will said. But you want to see home runs. You want to see line drives. You want to see a play at shortstop where he dives and throws a first and he's safe. And then you're like, what the hell? That was a dope ass play and he was safe. Like, no, that's not good. But you enjoy all these things. And a no hitter, like, it's one of those rare things. You already have 6 and we're not even at the half what is it? The half point of the season. And you already have 6. Like, how many more? Are we going to have 12? We're gonna have 12 no hitters this year.
I really hope not, dude. I was talking to a buddy at work about this, and I told him maybe we'll get 1 or 2 more, but I think that now that the weather's starting to warm up and batters are getting looser, I think that they're gonna produce a little bit better. I don't think we're gonna see any more no hitters this season.
Well, if there's one more no hitter, I hope it's from the Dodgers, because we're leading in that no hitter category.
Trevor Bauer, right? You said
Trevor Bauer.
The Dodgers.
Yeah, Trevor Bauer or Kershaw. I want to see that perfect game.
Oh, Kershaw
topped off by a Dodger.
Remember,
exactly.
Hanley Ramirez. That should have been a perfect game, man. Oh, I was at that game.
He had the worst defense ever. I don't know why they had him at shortstop. They should have took him out in the 5th.
Yeah. Well, Boston got
ever
him,
in the
right?
6th.
They moved him over to left field and then to first base once I think.
And they cut him. They cut him after that. Yeah, they were done.
And now he's playing like in the Dominican League or I don't remember where it is exactly, but he's still playing. He actually had right before COVID hit, I think he had a workout scheduled where MLB teams were going to go and look at him to try to get signed by someone, and he didn't. No one signed him.
Well, good luck to this guy, because I wouldn't want to sign him, especially after having a bad, his fielding sucked. So I just don't want to do it.
That's
so we reached the point.
Hey,
we reached the point where we want to go ahead and talk about the two-start pitchers. And oh, damn, I don't have it on. Let me go ahead and put it on. right there. What's going on? Oh,
looks good to me. I see him.
Oh, you see him? Okay, there you go. You got it. I couldn't put it on. So there's the 2-start pitchers. And by I mean 2 starts, meaning they're going to get 2 starts next week in week 8. Yeah. And this is what a lot of people have been looking for. And there's a lot of pitchers out there, man. Which one would you go after, Will? And which one won't you go after? Like, give me the one you would and the one you won't.
When it comes down to these guys that are actually available in most leagues. So when I sent you these lists, I didn't include all the pitchers that were already owned in more than 50% of leagues. These are just the ones that are owned in owned in less than not necessarily 50% of leagues, but these are the ones that are not must starts. Right.
Okay, gotcha.
The must starts like Garrett Cole and Jacob deGrom. If they're 2 starts, I didn't put them on the list right here.
Plus, those are players that are already picked up by majority of the
exactly. So they're probably not available. These guys, you have a pretty good chance of actually being able to pick up in any league. Definitely a few of them are going to be gone. Um, look when I look at this list and I'm trying to decide which 2-star pitcher I want to add, it really just comes down to matchups.
Yeah.
I look at like the first one I look at is Yarborough, and I
Jarbro.
see that he's facing Toronto, which is a great lineup. They've been scoring 6-7 runs a game lately, so I don't want to, put Tampa Bay's weak lineup against the Toronto lineup. He's probably going to get the loss, and he'll probably allow a lot of runs. And then the Phillies are kind of up and down. One day they'll score 10 runs, and then the next day they won't score at all. So
Okay.
it really could go either way. But that being said, the my 2-star pitcher that I'm looking to add is Austin Gomber. If it's at New York Mets and at Pittsburgh. If he was playing either one of these teams in Colorado, I wouldn't even have given it a second look. I would just skip over him completely. But he's playing against the Mets, who have struggled this season, and he's playing against Pittsburgh, who really only have like 2 solid hitters. But other than that, they're just kind of a dead lineup. So yeah, that's my pick. I would go for Austin Gomber. He's only owned in less than 2% of leagues, so
Wow.
he's definitely available.
Is that why you're wearing the Colorado Rockies?
That's why I'm wearing the Rockies hat, man. That's my.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. You're like, oh, I got to represent. So anyway, Gomber's a good option. He's not pitching to Colorado. He's pitching away, which he's going to pitch on Monday. He will pitch on Sunday, or I believe it's on Saturday against Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh hasn't been doing that good either. So thank you for the tip, man. And is there any other pitcher that you recommend for people to actually go and pick? I mean, I'll go ahead and share the screen again because there's a lot of pitchers for you to go ahead and do that. I know Gomber is your pickup, but do you see anybody else on here on this list that if Gomber's not available, give them a second option and maybe they can look at that.
Another thing that I look at also, other than just matchups, is how many innings do these guys usually go? So sometimes, like you could have like Ryan Yarborough. Take him for example again.
Yeah.
So he is pitching, 5 or 6 innings this season, but last year he was used as an opener and not really a starter.
Gotcha.
So he would only go 2 innings. So that's one thing that you kind of have to look at also. Look at their previous starts, how many innings that they've gone, just to make sure that that they can actually go deep into the game, because they're not going to be eligible for the win if they don't pitch at least 5 full innings. And if your league has quality starts, that's one thing that you kind of have to look for also, which is why I picked Austin Gomber. 4 out of his last 6 starts, he went 6 innings, I believe.
Yeah.
One of them he only went 3, and then another one he went 5.
Gotcha.
So that's another thing that you kind of have to consider. Another guy that I was kind of looking at was Dunn from Seattle going against Oakland and Texas. Texas is one of those teams that got no hit twice. And Oakland.
But Seattle got no hit twice as well, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with the pitching. So
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't.
Oakland, they have some stars in their lineup, but in the beginning of the season, they were really producing. Jed Lowry back with Oakland. He was kind of like the spark plug that ignited that team again, but they've kind of cooled off since then. So if I had to pick another one, he would be my second option.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, Sam said he likes David Peterson and he likes Justin Dunn, which is not a bad way to go either.
Peterson probably would have been my third pick.
Yeah.
There's some other pitchers out here that have way better matchups, like Shoemaker from Minnesota going against Baltimore and KC. That's pretty good matchups, but I just don't trust him. Remember when he got that line drive to the head, cracked his skull?
That kind of changed everything, dude.
It changed everything for his career, dude. I feel bad for the guy. He could have been really, really good. Not ace, but he could have been a solid like number 3.
Exactly. Well, we reached the end of our show. I know we've always go 2 hours and we're trying to cut it short. We're trying to get our information into this 1 hour. We went a little bit over, but we had a lot of information we needed to go ahead and provide for you guys. We went to do the slideshows and we wanted to give you our picks, the 2-star picks. Thank you, Will, for doing that. I know we have to do a lot of research for it. This is the end of the show, but I want to go ahead and give Will, any last thoughts, man?
Um, just when you're looking on the waiver wire for pitchers, just kind of really take into consideration not only the matchups, but how many innings they usually go, because most pitchers nowadays, they don't go 6 innings. It's really hard to find a solid pitcher that's gonna go 6 innings, and you see other pitchers that are ranked really high, like Blake Snell, and he really only goes 5 innings usually. And if he does pitch into the sixth, he rarely finishes the sixth. So his value drops a lot, especially in categories leagues that don't have the that have the quality start category. So definitely pay attention to how many innings each of these pitchers is throwing, and look out for those sparks. If you can find a solid starting pitcher that has relief pitcher eligibility, especially in points leagues, that's what's really going to bolster your lineup. Those guys are definitely more valuable than just a reliever. Closers. The only closer that I can really think of that is worth having over a starting pitcher that has relief pitcher eligibility is Aroldis Chapman. He's thrown 36 innings without allowing a run, and I think he only has like 2 walks, something like that. So this guy's been lights out this season. But other than that, I'd rather have guys like Freddy Peralta, who has relief pitcher eligibility, slot him in the RP spot instead of an SP spot, and you can fill up the rest of your SP with guys that just have the SP eligibility. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's my final thought.
Yep, that's really good, man. And for those of you that are here and are seeing us for the first time, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. We also have a TikTok, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter, and of course a YouTube. And don't forget, if you guys have a message and you guys need some help with anything baseball, you guys can go to realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com. Even on Instagram, I know there's been a lot of questions asked, right, Will? So
yeah, we get a lot of messages on Instagram
yeah.
a few times a week asking about trades or pickups or whatever. So you can message us on Instagram as well. realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com is what we want to try to gear for. But if you guys are already on Instagram and you want to send us a message through there, that's absolutely fine also.
Exactly. That's really good, man. Well, we reached the end of their show. I know.
Oh, don't forget Castbox.
Castbox. I know we've been saying that we got a new platform to hear us, so we're going to be on Castbox and Spotify, and of course, our original live feed, which is the YouTube. We're going to do a live Castbox. We'll set the date for it. We'll do it live, and we'll have everybody on there, and hopefully you guys can catch us up on there and ask questions as well. But yeah, we're trying to get everywhere. We're trying to get everything going for us. I know Castbox is something new. Will, you listen to your podcast there, and it's something great. I didn't know about Castbox, but we have our podcast on there now, so we're good.
It's the number one downloaded app for podcast listening. So cool. a lot of phones come with Apple Podcasts or come with Spotify already, where you can listen to podcasts on it. But Castbox, it's actually just as easy and simple as those other apps that you can download. So yeah, Castbox is definitely the way to go. That's where I used to listen to my the fantasy baseball podcast that I used to listen to. I still listen to them once in a while whenever I have time. This takes a lot of time, and watching baseball takes a lot of time, and working full time takes a lot of time, and raising a 4-year-old and dealing with a 14-year-old. So
and it's an endless of ends, right?
Yeah, it really is, man. Adulting is hard. Adulting is hard.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing else to say. I know we got all the stuff out there. Hopefully you guys liked the show today. Tony Snap will be probably in the next show. Hopefully he is.
He better be.
Yeah, he better be. He better be listening. We'll be on next Tuesday, I believe, at 8 p.m. Pacific time. 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's nothing else to say, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Power.